the fish ready and preheat the oven. I want this place to look presentable.
Okay, you dirty heathens. We have finally arrived at Helldünkel, the month-long period of twilight where the days and nights wear thin, like the edge of a bad dream from which you can't seem to wake.
You talking about Halloween?
No, we're not doing that. It's Helldünkel, a time when the earth hums low and steady beneath the tattered soles of your shoes. And all throughout the slummy apartment complex, neighbors bake traditional Helldünkel hats out of wheat bread and line the shelves with them. These hat breads are supposed to ward off malevolent spirits, but mostly they just sit there going stale, hard and heavy, like loaves of forgotten souls. Shit-ass children patrol the neighborhood dressed like druids, eyes blacked out with the ashes of consecrated horsehair, their hands cupped as they beg for those sweet, honey-cured Helldünkel bait fish. That's the tradition, and the kids crave it. You gotta hand over the fish, sweet and glistening with clover honey. Watch them devour it like it's the last meal they'll ever have. It's all part of Helldünkel. Bread hats, honey fish, and fried cinnamon bologna sandwiches.
Bro, this is the worst holiday I ever heard of.
Thank you, Bankrupt Barry. You have a wonderful way with words. Welcome to How Horrific. I'm your host, happytheknife. And this is my co-host, a humorous head.
Hello, bitches.
Every Friday in October at 6 p.m., we will be presenting spooky, fun, scary content from a collection of creators taking part in this multi-channel, multi-platform collaboration. We have a lot of special things planned for this series, including a 5-part showing of the short horror film Thingamajig from our friends over at Skeleton Crew Productions. So cool of them to let us include that in this series. Thank you guys so much, from me and Jen.
Thank you, Skeleton Crew.
And of course, we'll be concluding the whole thing with a Halloween special. So let's start things off with a horror cosplay contest with a cash prize of $500. This first week, we're only going to have 2. Next week, we will have 6. And then the top 4 will move on to round 2. First up, Shido.
Why don't you get it? Can't you get it? Understand? We're gonna execute the mother to elevate the man.
Next up, Lux.Tears, aka Luxury Tears.
Oh no. Do you smell that? They're coming. Be gone, thoughts. Go away. I'm a man of God.
Vote for the one that you would like to see more of in the comments.
They are both amazing.
Let's all remember that the short form content that we all enjoy so much takes a lot of time and investment and energy and talent, and you have to put yourself out there. So let's show them some support by going and following them on TikTok and Instagram at Shido and at Lux.Tears. Anyway.
You seem more tired than usual today.
Well, I came home. At the end of the alleyway, I could see a shadow demon. Later that night, I woke up to a cold breeze, and I find my front door wide open.
I can't believe you left your door unlocked the first night of Helldünkel. You're going to have spirits and demons haunting your house all month.
I know, they're already messing with me. That's why I haven't been sleeping. But let's get back to the thing that we're doing. We'll talk more about that later. Jen, what do you like to do during this very spooky season?
I like to watch old spooky fun scary television like Tales from the Crypt.
Sometimes I forget how much I enjoyed those old Tales from the Crypt episodes. I'd like to rewatch them, but there's so many. How do you know Which ones to watch?
Why don't you ask our friend CrasHNburN?
Jen, you're so smart. Let's ask CrasHNburN.
Thanks a lot, Happy. So tonight I am looking to discuss television terror. Now, this is probably just about the most loved episode of the long-running HBO series Tales from the Crypt that was on back to the late 80s and the early 90s. This one happens to star Morton Downey Jr. Now, as a quick side note, Morton Downey Jr., he plays a guy by the name of Horton Rivers. He's on sort of a sleazy talk show. She's a sleazy talk show host by way of, say, a Jerry Springer or Geraldo Rivera, or more specifically, Morton Downey Jr., who, of course, is playing the part of Horton Rivers. Morton Downey had the Morton Downey Show, the Morton Downey Jr. Show. It only ran, I believe, for about 3 years back in the late 80s, I think. Their big claim to fame was the Tawana Brawley scandal. If you're interested and you want to know what happened to Tawana, look her up. I'm not interested in touching that now. But yeah, so Morton Downey had his own sleazy talk show where it was best described as sort of like a late night talk show with a hockey audience. And I imagine that's why the people at HBO decided to cast Morton Downey in the role of Horton Rivers, because Horton Rivers is Morton Downey Jr. and Morton Downey Jr. is Horton Rivers. He lived for the sleaze of everything. So yeah, so Horton Rivers finds himself going into a supposed haunted house that he's been warned against going into. Now again, like I said, this one has been talked to death, but the reason that I wanted to touch on it here was it's just so scary. I can't really call it a movie, and I don't really feel comfortable calling it a short because the Tales from the Crypt episodes were a half an hour apiece, and I'm not exactly sure how to frame it. Because on one hand, the Tales from the Crypt were incredibly scary, but they were also incredibly funny and witty and really entertaining. So it wasn't all about the fear factor with this show. It was also about like how hilarious each episode could be. And this episode is funny enough, especially considering what a scumbag Horton Rivers is and how in the end everything sort of happens to him just as it should, because he's a piece of shit that doesn't give a fuck about anybody around him. But yeah, so like I said, he finds his way into a haunted house that he has been warned against, but that's what Horton Rivers does. He doesn't listen to anybody. And of course, this came out right around the same time that I think, well, it was roughly around the same time that Geraldo Rivera went into Al Capone's vault and he found nothing. And so whenever I see like a sleazy talk show host standing in front of a door or whatever being broken down, like you see in this episode just before Horton and his crew move into the house, I always think of Geraldo, like getting the public all hyped up for what's going to be in Al Capone's vault. And when they finally got inside of it, it was empty. So that's what happens here is you see him opening everything, and I am telling you, they did that as like a sort of a jab at Geraldo's fuck up with Al Capone's vault. And then, of course, they go inside the house, and nothing's really going on. Oh, Jesus, my light just died. Sorry about that. But yeah, so they get inside, not much is happening, but before long, once Horton starts to discuss what happened here and what the story is there's an older woman who was looking after older men, but what she was really doing was she was killing them and then collecting their social security checks. So she ended up killing like 20 old dudes. And as it turns out, their spirits are rather restless and they're looking for revenge. And Horton, of course, goes in here with absolutely no respect for anything except for himself, of course, because again, he's a piece of shit. And, well, you know, him and Trip, his main cameraman that are in there, they are subjected to, wow, that is a scary half an hour. Let me tell you, once they start being hunted, and especially once Trips tries to fix the camera and they're like, Trip, there's got some feedback going on. There's something screwy, because they're starting to hear like the moans of the house and the walls are starting to bleed and all this weird shit's going down. And then just when things are, you think that they're kind of like at their apex, all of a sudden you see like Trip's hanging, the camera's on the ground. Horton has to pick the camera up and start to sort of film everything himself at the exact same time as the phones are all ringing off the hook, because, well, everybody in TV land thinks this is the best thing ever because it looks like these two people are actually being hunted in this house, which of course they are, but to everybody out there viewing public, sorry, they just think it's really good entertainment. And so Horton's attempting to escape the place, but because he treated his crew so poorly, I think the producer that was sleeping with him, she's like, sorry, dude, like the ratings are just too high. We can't get you out of there. Just keep going. The phone's ringing off the hook. This is a good thing. And of course, then the ghost of the chick who butchered all the dudes shows up, chainsaws him, and then, he ends up somehow wrapping a cord from one of the drapes around his neck, and he gets thrown at the window and he hangs, and that's how the episode ends. And I loved this. This genuinely scared me when I was a little kid. Like, this episode absolutely terrified me. But then at the same time, even though I was a little kid, I still remember Morton Downey from his TV show. And so it was like there's that sense of comedy was still at play. So I knew that I wasn't going to get like too freaked out by this. Like some things at the time that I was just too young for, that I was too busy trying to like hunt down all the Faces of Death and the Traces of Death movies and shit. And I just was a little young for those. But this, I found I slid right into place. This was absolutely fucking terrifying. And incredibly witty and funny at the same time, too, especially when you consider how they cast Morton Downey Jr. in the role of Horton Rivers, seeing as how he's really willing to just essentially play himself. And then, unfortunately, Morton Downey would pass away from, I believe, lung cancer, like a handful of years after this was filmed. I think, well, I can't remember when Morton Downey Jr. died now, but I know it was within 10 years or so of filming this episode. And this is what he is, in a lot of ways, most famous for. Which is, I think this is just about the most beloved episode of Tales from the Crypt, and Morton Downey Jr.'s in it, and I love that because growing up, he was such a cool guy to me because he was like the outlaw TV show host, and I thought that was so badass. But look, I am getting out of here, so thank you so much for hanging out with me for almost 7 minutes while I discussed this rather old episode of the old TV show Tales from the Crypt. I'm going to throw it back to Happy, back in the studio or wherever he is. Back to you, dude.
Oh, that Horton. He's a real swinger.
He brings so much energy and insight and enthusiasm to everything that he talks about. So if you want a steady stream of content about topics that you probably enjoy, then make sure you go and subscribe to CrasHNburN.
So what happened after you found your door open?
Nothing happened the rest of that night. But the next night, just as I'm falling asleep, I see somebody standing in the doorway, and they went into my bathroom. So I'm thinking, fuck, I don't want a haunted bathroom. So I get up to go check it out, and just in the little gap between my shower curtain and the wall, I can see some long black hair.
Oh, I know her. That's Margaret. Definitely don't go in your shower. She's a lot taller than she looks, and her arms can get long enough to hold your bathroom door shut.
Well, yeah, that would explain some things that happened the next day. But I'll tell you about it in a little bit. We gotta get back to that thing that we're doing. I wanted to include a horror gaming segment. I reached out to a lot of horror content creators, and of course, it's October. They're doing their own big projects, and probably want to make sure that this is a real thing. So until we can get some videos from them, I present Happy's Horror Gaming. What's up, gamers? I know I look really cool and young right now, but I'm getting pretty old. When I was a kid, I fucking hated watching other people play video games. I wanted to play. But that's not how it is anymore. Now, the only thing better than playing video games is watching somebody else play. Truth be told, I'm not much of a gamer. As in, I don't game at all. But I'm pretty sure I can do it. Can't be that hard. Can't be harder than real life, right? But not to get too off-brand, we're going to only play video games based on horror movies. And the first one we're going to play is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Fucking awesome. How to play the Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game. The player controls Leatherface and is wearing chainsaw. Computer-controlled victims flee in terror as you pursue them. Beware of the obstacles in your way. Cow skulls, fences, wheelchairs, and thickets. At the top of the screen is the number of fuel tanks left and a gauge indicating the amount of gas left in the chainsaw. At the bottom of the screen is the score display. Let's fucking do it. Oh, I see one. Oh no, a wheelchair. Oh man, thickets! Look out! I'm gonna get you. Oh, it's a cow skull. Oh, another wheelchair. Oh, fuck. Oh, I see ya. Oh, thickets again. Oh, here we go. Come on, Sally. Come here. Come here, I'm gonna get you. Oh my god, dead. Oh, it feels so good to kill. Oh no, I ran out of fuel. Round 2. There she is again. Come here. Oh, sneaky one. You won't get too far from me. Yes. Yes. Dead. Oh, here we go. Come here, Sally. Oh, it's not like the movie. You're not getting away this time. Oh, thickets. Oh man, there's one. There she is. Oh, wheelchair again. I don't even remember Cow Skull in the movie. I see ya. Oh, sweet death. I got one more in me. I can feel it. Ah, wheelchair. There sure is a lot of people. Kicked in the ass. So that's how the game ends, huh? Well, I got 6,000. Pretty good, I think. Should we do another round? Try to beat 6,000? Fucking right, we should. Oh, thickets. The wheelchair. Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, she's so fast. Now she's dead. Oh, these thickets. I didn't know Texas was so full of them. And wheelchairs. Oh, God. No. Where are these wheelchairs coming from? His cardio is unbelievable. You aren't ever gonna get away. I could have told you that. Come on, who's next? Girl, that looks exactly the same. Yes. This is a wheelchair massacre. Oh, there she is. Oh man, I'm running out of time. Yes. One more, and I will have improved and beaten my own high score. For the record, it's almost getting too easy. Here we go. Come here. 8,000. A massacre indeed. Thanks for joining me on Happy's Horror Gaming. I'll try to get some real gamers next week. Back to the show. Jen, I know you don't blink, Jen. Are you asleep? Are you dead?
Oh, my bad. I fell asleep during that last segment. Why don't you tell me what else happened with your haunted house to help wake me up a little?
Well, I started filming a little segment for this about how to make a quick Helldünkel treat. And then I heard, what was her name? Margaret. I could hear her moving around in my bathroom. And I felt bad. Hey, so I know you got kind of a raw deal picking the shower so early into the month, and not even having a chance to scare me. But I do feel bad about it. So I was making these treats for a part of the segment on the show that I'm doing. It's for Helldünkel. It's just like little quick treats. I'm not going to eat them. Jen's not going to eat them. Jen doesn't even have a body. She's just a severed head. Well, not severed. Never attached. I don't know what the word for that would be. But anyway, take it if you want it. I would never eat anything in a bathroom. But I would never haunt one either, so I don't know, maybe you'll like it.
You fed her? You're not supposed to give them anything. If you give them something, they'll seek that thing from you for the entire month. You're going to have a tough month.
They're all tough, but yeah, this is going to be a bad one. And now our friends over at Skeleton Crew Productions have graciously allowed me to play for you part 1 of Thingamajig. You can join us here every week to watch all 5 parts of Thingamajig, but if you don't want to wait, you can go to their YouTube channel and watch Thingamajig in its entirety right now. And honestly, you should. It's awesome. I'd like to thank all of the channels and creators who are coming together to make this Helldünkel extra special. Today's episode was brought to you by Unoshido, Luxury Tears, Bankrupt, CrasHNburN, and Skeleton Crew Productions. Remember to cast your vote for the cosplayer that you would like to see more videos from, and see advance to the second round for their chance to win a much-deserved $500. And join us next week, Friday, October 11th at 6 p.m. We'll have some more spooky fun content, some new creators joining the show, and we'll be showing part 2 of Thingamajig. If you'd like to contribute content and be featured on How Horrific, please contact Jen at happytheknife@gmail.com. We will not accept payment for advertisement, but if you are an artist or a small business owner and you provide a spooky, scary, fun ad, we'll probably show it for you. What do you think, Jen? Should we get the fuck out of here? Really though, thank you everyone, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. See you guys next time. Say goodbye, Jen.